Yeah. So electric bell. In electric bell, first of all, we will discuss about the components of electric bell, means the parts of the electric bell and their names. Okay. So first of all, it is given that a coil of wire wound over an iron piece that forms the electromagnet. It is talking about this part, right? So this part is the coil, which is finally going to act as the electromagnet when the current will flow through it, right? It will act as electromagnet when the current will flow through it. Okay. Next is an iron strip which has a hammer attached to it, okay, and which is joined to the wire coil. Now where is the iron strip? This is the iron strip. Okay, this part is the iron strip, and we can clearly see that it is attached to a hammer. Can you see that hammer? Okay, this is the hammer from which it is attached. So this is what? This is our hammer, which is going to hit the gong and produce the sound. Okay, this is our hammer, right? And it is also given that it is joined with the wire coil. Okay, so there, where is the wire coil? Here we can see that this this iron strip is joined with this wire coil. Can you see this wire coil? Okay, it is joined with the wire coil. So the same thing, this is the wire through which it is attached, right? Okay, now next is a contact screw which is attached to the iron strip, Okay, so where is the contact screw? This is the contact screw, right? This one is the contact screw, and it is not uh, fixed with the iron strip. It is just in contact, it is just in touch with the iron strip, right? And what is the next one? Next one is a battery which connects the wire coil and the contact screw. Okay, it is talking about this battery. Okay, here we can see there is a battery.
सर आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है.
सर आ रही है.
So here we can see that the battery, the one end of the battery is connected with the contact screw, right? The one end of the battery is connected with the contact screw, and the other end is connected to the coil. Sorry, the other end is connected to the coil by a switch. Okay, the small thing that you can see, that is the switch used in the electric bell, right? That is the switch. Okay, so these were the components through which an electric bell is made up of, right? The switch is in the middle of the circuit, that is between the battery and the coil. Okay, so hope all these components are clear to everyone. This one is known as gong. It is known as gong, G-O-N-G, gong, which is a metal disc. Okay, it is a metal disc on which the hammer is going to strike, and that is going to produce the sound. Okay, so now we will understand the working of electric bell, in which we will discuss that how the hammer is going to hit the gong and it is going to make sound. So it is very important, and you have to be very careful and attentive while listening this. Okay, yeah, so the image is clear to everyone, right? Now let me first show you. I will read the statement and then simultaneously I will explain the flow of current in the circuit, right? So it is, the first condition is when the iron strip is in contact with the screw. Okay, means here we can see at this point that the iron strip and the contact screw are in they are touching each other. Okay, so in this case the current flows through the coil, which becomes an electromagnet. Now let me show you from where the current is going to flow. Okay. Yeah, see, this is the positive terminal of the battery and this is the negative terminal of the battery, right? We know that current flows from positive to negative. So current will start flowing from here, that is from positive. Okay, it will flow through, it will reach here to the contact screw. Now, because contact screw and the iron strip both are made up of metal, right? So it will go to contact screw. From contact screw, it will go to iron strip. Okay, right? Okay, now you may ask a question that why it is not going towards the hammer? Why the current is not going towards the hammer? It is because the hammer is not in contact with any other thing. Means once it will reach at this point, there is no further path for the current to move. That's why the current does not move towards the hammer. Okay, it moves towards the iron strip. Now iron strip is again connected with a wire that you can
आपकी
see.
आवाज नहीं आ रही थी.
The iron strip is again connected with the wire. So the current from the iron strip will move towards the wire. Okay. So I will explain you that what is that circular object. Okay. But first let us understand the flow of current. So from the iron strip, the current will flow through this wire. From this wire, it will flow through this whole coil, and from this coil, it will reach this coil, and from this coil, it will reach this switch, and from this switch, it will reach the negative terminal. Okay, so this is how the current, this is the path of the current. Okay, starting from the positive to the negative, right? This one is actually a spring which is going to bring back the hammer. That I will explain you what is the function of that spring, right? So just let me know that whether this flow of current or the path of flow of current is clear to everyone. Now I will explain you what would be the effect of this current that is flowing through it. Okay, so for this I am just rubbing all this current, the current which I have shown by arrow, but the current is flowing, right? The current is flowing through a circuit. Okay, now we all know that when the current flows through this coil, when the current will flow through this coil, the coil is going to act like electromagnet. Okay, right? The coil is going to act like an electromagnet, and we know that electromagnet will attract every iron material towards it. So what it will do, it will attract this iron strip towards it. It will attract this iron strip towards it, right? Okay, now when the iron strip would be attracted towards it, okay, means the so when the iron strip will move towards the electromagnet, even the hammer is going to move. Okay, the whole hammer is going to move for in towards the right side. So when the tip of the hammer will move towards the right side, the hammer, the position of the hammer would be here like this. Okay, like this. So the hammer is going to hit the gong. Okay, so actually what is happening, the electromagnet is attracting the iron strip towards it, and because the iron strip is attracted, because the iron strip moves towards the electromagnet, the hammer moves towards the gong and the hammer hits the gong. Okay, so this is how the first bell rings. This is how the first time we hear a sound, or we can say that the first time the hammer hits the gong. So the same thing has been mentioned here, that the coil which becomes an electromagnet, it then pulls the iron strip. Okay, because magnet is going to attract the iron particles towards it, right? So when the iron strip is pulled towards the magnet, in this process, the hammer at the end of the iron strip strikes the gong of the bell to produce a sound. Okay, and this is how the sound is produced, right? Okay, if see, I'm drawing the hammer over here. Suppose the hammer has been attracted towards the electromagnet, sorry, the ion strip. So the position of ion strip would be somewhere here, right? The position of ion strip would be somewhere here. I'm drawing it here. Suppose this is the position of the ion strip. This is the position of the ion strip, right? And the position of the hammer, would be somewhere here, right? Wait a minute. The position of the hammer would be somewhere here like this. Okay, it is going to hit the gong. It is going to hit the gong. Now you can clearly see that when the hammer will, sorry, when the ion strip is in contact with the electromagnet, there would be a gap between the screw and the ion strip. Can you see this gap?
Yes, sir.
Because the contact screw is fixed. Because the contact screw is fixed. So as the ion strip will move towards the electromagnet, there will be a gap over here. A gap is created between the ion screw and the contact, sorry, the ion strip and the contact screw. Okay, there is a gap. Okay, so now because there is a gap, just let me know the current which was flowing from the positive, the current was reaching to the contact screw, but now because there is a gap, will the current move further? No, there is no path for the current to move further, right? Because the contact screw was in touch with the ion strip, and now the ion strip has moved towards the electromagnet, and a gap has been created between them, right? So the current cannot move further. So it is similar. Like if suppose there is a circuit, if there is a circuit like this, okay, if we break the circuit from between, if suppose we are breaking the circuit from between, so of course the current will not flow through the circuit, right? So it is similar to that. Means when the what we can write, that when the electromagnet pulls the ion strip towards it, it breaks the circuit, correct? Because there is a gap in between, so the current cannot flow further. It means this the circuit is open, or we can say that the circuit, there is a break in the circuit. The current through the coil will stop flowing. If there is a break, the current will stop flowing through the circuit. The current cannot flow. Means there would be no current flowing through the circuit. Okay. Hope it is clear to everyone. Now, as we had discussed that the electromagnet, as we had discussed that the electromagnet was in contact with the electromagnet, sorry, the ion strip was in contact with the coil, right? That is the electromagnet. So there was a gap between the contact screw and the ion strip, right? So the current stopped flowing through the circuit. So if the current is not flowing through the circuit, if the current is not flowing through this coil, yeah, if suppose the current doesn't flow through this coil, so the coil is going to lose the magnetism, right? Means the coil is no longer an electromagnet. This is what we have studied about electromagnet. Okay, that if current stops, then the coil loses its magnetism, right? It will lose its magnetism, correct? This we know.
स्टॉप के बाद डी लिखा है स्टॉप के बाद डी
Okay, understood this, that it is going to lose its magnetism. Okay, now let me know that if this coil will lose the magnetism, then would it be able to keep this ion strip attracted towards it? So once it will lose the magnetism, then this, because of this spring, the ion strip will again come back to its original position. Okay, the ion strip will again come back to its original position. The means the ion strip will move back to its original position, right? And even the hammer which has strike the gong, even that hammer will move back, right? So this is what going to happen, means the coil is no longer an electromagnet, so it no longer attracts the ion strip. So if it is not going to attract it anymore, the ion strip will come back to its original position. Okay, and it will touch the contact screw again. Okay, so when it will come back to its original position, our circuit will again look like this. See, our circuit will again look like this, right? Correct. The circuit is again going to look like this. The contact screw and the ion strip will be again in contact, means there would be no gap between them. There would be no gap between them, right? So again, it is like the initial condition. It means when they will in contact, means there would be no gap. The circuit would again be an closed circuit, means it completes the circuit. So what will happen? Again, the current will start flowing. The current will flow through the contact screw, then it will flow through the ion strip, then to this coil, then to this coil, then to this coil. Again, it will reach the negative terminal. So again, the circuit is going to complete. So once the circuit is completed, again, this electromagnet or this coil will again behave like magnet. It will again behave like magnet, correct? If it is again going to behave like a magnet, again it is going to attract this ion strip towards it. And when the ion strip will be attracted, the hammer will again strike the gong. Okay, so this is how again we can hear the second ring, second sound. Okay, second time we would be able to hear that ringing sound. The same thing has been explained over here. See, I'm reading it here, that once the circuit gets completed, the current flows in the coil. Okay, and it will become an electromagnet. It will attract, and because of which the hammer strikes the gong again. Okay, and this process is repeated in quick succession. It means what? It takes place very fast. Though I am explaining it very slowly, means we are taking time in understanding this process, but it takes very fast, means within a second it happens a lot of time. Okay, and because of this, the hammer strikes the gong every time the circuit is completed, and this is how the bell rings, right? So, and it keeps on ringing continuously till we are switching. We have kept the switch on. Like if suppose you might have seen that if there is a bell outside the house, if we will keep the switch on, it is continuously going to ring. Okay, so inside it actually what is happening, inside it actually this, the whole process or the whole change is happening in this region, that is in this region, right? The contact screw comes in contact with the iron strip, then the circuit is completed. If it leaves the contact screw, there's a gap, the circuit breaks. Okay, so this is the whole process of ringing of an electric bell, right? I am giving you a minute. Once read this working, and let you all just check yourself whether it is clear to you or not, right? If you want to summarize, we can look at this figure, these two figures. Here we can see that in the first figure, the contact screw and the iron strip are in contact, right? So the hammer is little bit far from the gong. Okay, but in second figure we can see that when the current passes, the iron strip moves towards the electromagnet, and a gap is created between the iron strip and the contact screw, and at the same time the hammer hits the gong. Okay, and again it will come back, again the circuit will complete, again it would be attracted, again it will hit the gong. So this process goes on continuously till the switch is on, right? So this is how the electric bell works.